So I want to transition to Joe Judge now. I was actually not a huge fan of the Joe Judge hire, but hey, guess what? I'm on board now, Chris, because here was my knock on Joe Judge. I felt that he had very little coaching experience, and we've seen Bill Belichick disciples be good and be bad. We've seen guys like Brian Flores, Mike Vrabel be really good. We've seen some other guys just be complete flops. And I also looked at Joe Judge and I said, okay, he's going into a division with 3 head coaches that have been to or have won Super Bowls. Now, obviously, people are down on Doug Peterson. We'll get to him later in the show. People are down on McCarthy, but at least they've been to Super Bowls. I felt that he was at a very big disadvantage. I felt that he would be seeing those guys 6 times a year. He wouldn't be able to live up to the hype. And I felt the roster was not that good. And I was wrong. I'm on the Joe Judge train. I think that he got his team well prepared each week. I think that the team seems very competitive under him. I think that the locker room seems to really buy into Joe Judge. He seems to make adjustments. And last year, well, really this year, but last year, you guys were 1 game away from the division title. So I'm on the Joe Judge bandwagon. I definitely think that he can become really, really good to great potentially. So what were your thoughts on Joe Judge when he was brought in, and what have you seen so far?
Yeah, I remember when the Giants were doing the coaching search, we brought in, I think it was like 5 or 6 prospects. Don Wink Martindale from the Ravens. We brought in Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. We brought in the DB's coach, Chris Richard from the Cowboys. We brought in Mike McCarthy. And we brought in Joe Judge, and I'm probably forgetting somebody else. But Matt Rule, we were going to bring in Matt Rule, and he took the job before he got here. And I wanted Matt Rule. I also wanted Rivera, who we didn't even get an opportunity to. We signed with Washington way ahead of time. And I didn't know much about Joe Judge, but I remember I did preview videos on every one of them. And every one of my other preview videos got like 6,000, 7,000 views. Judge got like 1,000. Because everybody just said, there's no way they're going to hire Joe Judge. Who the hell is Joe Judge? And I get it. It wasn't the Giants' way. And I had the same mindset. I was like, I'm going to do the video because they're interviewing. I want to know about him. I want to, I want to learn about him just in case. And I remember, you go back, watch the video. When I made the video, I said in the video, I don't think they're going to hire him because of his lack of experience, but I was very impressed with him when I did my research. He was going to get a doctorate degree. He was 37, 38 years old, was doing that well being a coach in the NFL, learned under the 2 best minds in football, Saban and Belichick. And even in the video, I said, I completely understand why they're bringing this guy in. I think he's going to be a head coach in the NFL soon, but I don't think it'll be yet with the New York Giants. So I understood it. I think they took the word of Belichick. And when he got the job, I was behind it. I liked that the Giants thought outside the box. It wasn't a typical Giants hire. I liked that they brought in a young guy. I thought that it fit the mold of this team. You had a lot of young players, and you were building it from the ground up rather than bringing in a refurb like a Mike McCarthy. I thought it was a better match for the team that we had. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell me he was my first choice. I wanted Rule, like most Giant fans. I wanted Rivera. But once I started to learn Judge, and then he had the opening press conference, I was all in. And I'm going to support him until such time, I feel like I shouldn't. But so far in his first year, I thought he organized a great staff. I thought Patrick Graham was phenomenal. Garrett, Giants fans have their doubts about. But overall, I thought it was a really good coaching staff. I thought Gettleman had a good offseason. And I thought that he got the most out of his players, which is what you ask in a head coach. I think the players love playing for him. And I do think for the first time in a long time that the New York Giants are building something. That I do think we're setting ourselves up to be a consistent, good team, which is all you can ask for as an NFL fan.
Dive into Patrick Graham and Jason Garrett a little bit more. How would you grade them so far in year 1 with the Giants? Great Patrick Graham and great Jason Garrett for me. You can go a little bit in-depth if you want.
Yeah, we'll start with Graham. I mean, going into the year, I think most Giant fans thought the offense would be more advanced than the defense, just because of how bad the defense was the year before. And the offense was actually decent, maybe 20th in the league. And the defense far exceeded expectations. I think they finished 9th in yards, 11th in points, maybe reverse, regardless, top 11 in both. They were like first for a while, up until maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks in knockdown percentage. And what I was really impressed with Patrick Graham about, you look at the players on this team, Leonard Williams, career year. James Bradbury, career year. Logan Ryan, very good year. Peppers had a really good year. The whole defense outperformed what most people thought they were going to do. And he got the most out of the talent that he had on the roster. Not to mention, you look at the edge rushers, they go down. Lorenzo Carter out for the year after week 2. O'Shane Ximines barely played all year. Xavier McKinney didn't play until the last 2 weeks, really. He got the most out of the talent on this roster, and it really excites me as a Giant fan when we actually get more talent here, which I think we will this offseason, and these guys will grow and become better players, I think he could be a dynamic defensive coordinator in the NFL. I think he's a really smart guy. And the way he was able to generate pressure. I mean, the Giants, I think, were top 10 in sacks, or at least they were up there for a while with nobody in terms of the edge rusher position. He generated pressure through scheme and coverage. And I think the Giants, a lot of people point to that they think the Giants' biggest need on defense is the edge rusher. I actually disagree. I think we need a stronger second cornerback because I think Graham wants to be more aggressive. And to do that, I think you need to be strong at the corner position. I think they're going to be like the Patriots, where the Patriots always got pressure through their secondary. The Ravens as well. They have a very strong secondary. So I think that's the approach the Giants are going to take. But year one, I thought Patrick Graham had a really, really good year. I'd say an A. Like, it was that good in terms of my initial expectations. On the other side of the ball, I try to be as fair as I can. Like, most Giant fans think Jason Garrett is the Antichrist. They think he's complete garbage. I can't say that conclusively because, I talked about Daniel Jones earlier, that he had limitations to the offense because he didn't have weapons on the team. Well, it's the same thing for Garrett. Like, Garrett probably going into the year thought that Barkley was going to be a big part of that offense. He goes down after week one. I mean, I think the offense was probably going to revolve around him. It completely changed everything. Ingram dropped 11 balls, the most in all of football. Darius Slayton, I think, was top 10 or 11. Now, I'm not saying he's great. His scheme, I get it. People say he doesn't scheme guys open. But he had limitations to this offense. So I'm going to be fair. You had 3 new guys to that offensive line. That 60% of the offensive line had never played together before. That took some time. You had the pandemic. You had no preseason. These guys couldn't get acclimated to the new offense. I'm not saying he was good because he wasn't.
You can work with it for another year.
Yeah, I could work with him for another year. I think Jones and the players being in the scheme for another year might be the better approach than bringing in a complete outsider and them having to learn a completely new scheme. I think the thing that's evident to me on this offense is we need more talent. You need Barkley back, and you need to get better weaponry on the outside.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about Jones a little bit earlier. I think that at times his turnovers kind of held Jason Garrett back a little bit, But we'll see, man. I think Garrett's offense fits kind of Jones' strengths to a certain degree. I think that, once you get more talent, once you get another wide receiver, hopefully, once Evan Ingram stops dropping passes, you guys will be pretty good, And I was really surprised by Patrick Graham and his performance. I thought the defense would be improved, and I like the front seven, but you guys were arguably a top 15 to 10 defense this year, no doubt about it. So definitely like the Patrick Graham hire. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.